All right, on today's video, we're part 2 of the hydraulic pump repair. And now this is the trickier part, I would say. We're going to take it apart and replace the seals. All right, so a lot of pieces in here, and so the prep work that I did, I got it all cleaned off, and then you want to scribe down the side, which I did that already. And basically the reason you scribe it down the side is because you want to make sure that you get it lined up back the way it originally was. And if you can hear the door banging a little bit, the wind is starting to come up. It's supposed to be like 50-mile-an-hour wind tomorrow, I guess, so that'll be fun. But I did break these loose, and then so to keep everything the way it was and to keep it together, sometimes I cheat a little bit. And so basically, when I pull these cap screws off, I made a little diagram on a wood box here, and I'll put the screw in each one of those, so then the screws go back in the same spot they were before. Now, so top is right here where these valves are. So then I'll start on this one. And there's a washer on these. And then I'll just stick it in my box like so. So there we go, we got that. And then I'll just take the rest of these off and we'll be back. Okay, so I got all the cap screws out. Got them on my box now. And can't decide if I want to pull it apart in the vise here or on the table. I think I'll put it on the table. This vise is a little jumpy. There we go. Okay, and we got her down there. Where'd my rag go? All right, and I'll get you a little closer here. All right, so now it's starting to split, and we want to keep it in order and everything. There's one seal. Okay, and some of it. So there we go. Don't see any nicks or anything in there. So that looks pretty good. Yeah, not horrible. Not horrible wear for 40-year-old tractor. Let's see here. Grab a screwdriver. There's a gap right here. Yep. See if there's one on the other side. Because right there is what I was working with. Boom. There's that gear. I don't see any issues with it, so that's good. Did lose 2 pins there. To see where those came out of. Nope, right here. So I'll have to get those back in. Roller bearings, or needle bearings. And a whole bunch came out over here. It's always fun. So yeah, I'll have to play with those. But it looks in pretty good shape. And basically this is a twin pump. So it's basically the same on both sides. It's being a little stubborn, coming apart there. And again, you want to be careful with it. You don't want to create any gouges that aren't already in there, or hopefully there aren't any in there. I wish those needle bearings had quit falling out. But I don't really see a way to prevent that. But we'll get them back in. Once we get her taken apart. Okay, I'll take that the rest of the way apart and we'll be back. Alright, so I've got all the pieces split apart. And as you noticed earlier, my needle bearings were coming apart. So, got new ones. And when you're working with these bearings, one side will have writing on them. I'm not sure if you can see that in the camera. And then the other side doesn't. The side with the writing is flat. So that's the side that you want to press on, push on. And I am just going to use I think it's an 18. Yeah, I'm just going to use an 18 socket here to see. Because of course, you don't want to break any of the pump. I can't remember. I think Dad said he looked it up. And the one for the 200, I think he said was $2,900. Can't remember what he thought the 6080 was. But either way, so see if this moves at all. There's no keeper or anything. Pull this wear plate off. So here's the wear plate and the seals kind of sticking to it. But as you can see, here's the grooves that they go in and everything. And if you crack that, that piece is ruined. So you definitely don't want to do that. So you could use a press or something too if you had it. See if we get any movement here. Not really. Now, even though I told you to only hit on the side that has the letters, well, that's what the new one. When I'm taking the old one out, not such a big deal. See if it wants to come out that way. It does not want to move. I'm gonna need a bigger hammer. I think I got a little movement there. Maybe a little. So I will get those out of there, and then we'll have to put the new ones in, and that'll be our next step. There we go. So I got some bigger artillery. Went with the that hammer, and then I got a deep well socket, a 19 I used, and then so put the new one in. Get it most of the way, and then we'll tap it the rest of the way. There we go. Okay, luckily, only 4 more of those to do. Yippee! So, that's how I got them out. And so I'll replace those 4, and then we'll be on to the next step. All right, so here's the update here for our pump. All right, I've got the back side of the pump in here in the office because well, one, it was a little windy outside and cooler out in the shed, so it's warmer in here. And 2, so when I replaced the bearings previously, it's pretty easy. You just pound them out. Well, in this spot, obviously you can't pound it out because it's solid on the backside. And I did try. I had the smallest puller I could find, and it still wouldn't get it out of there. So in comes the trusty Dremel, and basically cut that bearing, and then it popped right out, and got all the needles out. And there is a port in there, of course, so you got to make sure that you don't drop any of the needles in there. And then also, after doing that grinding, then get all of that metal out of there. So that was fun. Got it all out. You got rag, Q-tips, or giant Q-tips, whatever. So yeah, I got that. And then I've got one of the plates here because then I took some emery cloth or sandpaper to shine those up, so that way when you're putting it back together, it has movement for you. So basically then all that's left is what I was actually going to do, which is pull this wear plate off. If it wants. Sometimes they pop out pretty easy, sometimes they don't. Boom, there we go. And then does show somewhere on there. Then we'll replace these seals, and I've got the new ones right here. So those will go in. I'm not going to do that now, because so when these come from the factory, they there isn't any gasket in between these, you know, the parts as it goes together. But when they put it together at the factory, it was brand new, and it hadn't been hot. There's no warpage there. I did have Dad, or I talked to Dad about the wear plates, and he showed me. I mean, there is a little wear on there, but he's obviously got a collection that he's had over the past 40 some years being a mechanic. And it, yeah, these aren't bad. He had one that had it was probably at least a 1/16, if not an 1/8 of an inch groove in it. So that was that was significant. So these are good. So of course then he's got all his his gasket maker bottles that were out in his shed. So I've got those in here, warming them up. And since we're gonna do that, I'll probably wait till he's around, so I can have an extra hand to help me with that. And yeah, and then we'll put everything back together, and then it'll have to go on the tractor. So there you go. There's the inside of your pump. I've got to put this one, that bearing, back in because I cut it out. And I think that'll bring us to the end of part 2 of the hydraulic repair video. And then part 3 we'll put it back together, and then it'll need to go back on the tractor. So yeah, there you go. It's a Webster. I forgot to say that, I think. It's on the casting here somewhere. Yeah, it is a Webster pump. So that's who Allis used for that. That bearing's still good, so that's nice. I didn't have to replace them all, and that one's a different size. So there we go. Yeah, hydraulic pump work is fun, right? So as always, take care, and thanks for watching.